So grade 9, I'm gonna repeat and explain again Mendel's work about the garden peas and his experiment that leads to the discovering of genetic and transmission of hereditary characteristics. So Mendel carried out his experiment with garden of peas in 3 steps. What did Mendel do? First, he select pure lines by self-fertilization. So حكينا هديك المرات what do I mean by pure lines. وقلنا pure lines means that nothing is in the trait another the original trait. يعني لما بقول he is pure green eyes يعني عيونه خضر ما فيهم شي تاني مش مخبى شي تاني. Okay, so pure line means pure. يعني for example the flower color is purple, it is real purple. Okay, so first of all he selected pure lines. 2 crosses of 2 different individuals of pure line that differ in one trait. يعني جاب هو wrinkled piece with a smooth piece. They are all similar except for the aspect of the outer layer. So they are pure except for one trait. So they are similar except only for one trait, and we cross them together. This is called monohybridism. Mono means one, hybridism means crosses between 2 pure lines. I will repeat. So he selected 2 kinds of peas, smooth peas and wrinkled peas. These peas were all identical except for the aspect of the layer. So one is wrinkled and the other is smooth. So they differ in one trait. لما منزوج شغلتين هن identical بس بيختلفوا بشغلة واحدة هيدا الكراس منقله monohybridism. Then he analyzed the numerical result obtained using statistical methods. So Mendel studied the offspring resulted from the cross of 2 pure lines that differ by one trait and he named them F1. So الأولاد اللي طلعوا بأول generation سميناهم F1 كرمال هيك بنقلها first generation. And if you remember in the previous video that all F1 of peas were smooth, looking like one of the parents. So they were smooth and they look like one of the parents. So he concluded that this trait, smooth, is dominant over the other trait يلي هو wrinkled. So اكتشف انه في trait غلب التاني بدليل انه كل ال F1 هن they are looking like one of the parents and they all look similar like one of the parents. So سمى هيدا ال trait dominant and the other trait was smooth. The smooth trait was the dominant and the other trait اللي هو wrinkled was recessive ضعيف. So I have 2 traits guys. I have the smooth and the wrinkled. The smooth appear in generation F1 in all the generation F1. He deduced that thus the smooth dominates the wrinkled and thus he named the smooth by a dominant allele, dominant trait. So, the parent, we represent them by the letter P, and the F1 generation, they are the offspring, okay? There are 2 pure lines formed. Parental generation, like here, I gave you 2 examples. So, the first example is purple crossed with white. They are flowers, they are identical, except for the color. One is purple and the other is white. What do we call this? It is a cross. Thus, they differ in one trait. مختلفين بشغلة واحدة هي اللون. So, this is a monohybrid cross. They are pure? Yes, they are pure. Okay? So, pure white and the pure purple. Crossed together, they form a monohybrid cross. نوعية التزاوج هو monohybrid cross. Okay? I gave you another one. For example, if they are identical except for flower position, كمان monohybrid cross. ممكن يعطونا seed color, one yellow, one green, seed shape. All of these are examples of monohybrid cross. So guys, what do I mean by monohybrid cross? It is a cross between two pure lines that differ in one trait. I mentioned in the vocabulary what do I mean by monohybrid cross. You need to memorize it. So whenever you are crossing two pure lines that differ in one trait, you are in a monohybrid cross. What did he do again? فإذا he obtained in F1 all the generation is smooth, looking like one of the parents. He took one of F1 and he crossed with another F1. So F1 times F1. What did he obtain in F2? He obtained 75% smooth seeds and 25 wrinkled. So the wrinkled character reappear. طلع معه بالF2 wrinkled piece بس بنسبة 25% والباقي 75 smooth seeds. So what did he conclude? He concluded that this recessive trait, this recessive allele was hidden in the first generation F1, but it reappears in F2 in 25%. And he deduced that the trait smooth or wrinkled seed, they are transmitted by gamete, is determined by heredity factor or gene. اكتشف انه الاهل عم يعطوا اولادهم جينز، عم يعطوا اولادهم معلومات وراثيه سميناها جين، هي اللي بتحدد صفاتهم يلي هن التريت. Each gene appears in two different versions or allele. كيف يعني؟ For example, I have the gene for eye color. أشكال الجين ممكن يكون green eyes, blue eyes, brown eyes, black eyes. We call them alleles. So الجين يعني trait يعني الصفة. أشكال الصفة منقلها allele. For example, the height الطول. I have long, I have short, I have medium. Hair color, it is a gene. I have black, I have brown, I have red, I have blonde hair color. So a trait, we call them gene, and the form of the trait, we call them allele. Each gene appears in two different versions. We will know later that we have 46 chromosomes and each pair is consisting of two chromosomes. That's why each gene forms two alleles. They coexist in hybrid F1 and their genotype is represented by SW. شو يعني هالحكي؟ يعني in F1 all the generation were smooth, yes? كشكل من برا هن smooth, but they hold the other allele wrinkled. بس بما انه السموث dominate wrinkled, we wrote big SW. يعني كل البازيلا اللي طلعوا بالF1 واللي كانوا smooth شكلهم من برا smooth, yes? بس هن in real life, in reality, they hold also the other allele wrinkled. We will stop here.